Okay, I thought this would make a good follow-up to that bad aftermarket condenser on this Toyota. I got 54 degrees at idle here. When I take it up to 1800 RPMs, as if you were cruising down the street, it drops to 52 degrees right now. The sensor that is on top of the cabin air filter of the intake air is 66 degrees. The outside ambient temperature coming around is 66 degrees. I got 52 to 54 depending on now the one thing I have not mentioned, I think I might have mentioned it maybe in one video, because I don't always give out all the information in one video. I leave 100 pieces of information out of each one of my videos, and I only give you a few. You need a big fan here. Once you get oncoming air blowing in the front of the car, like you're doing 25-35 miles an hour down the street, you will get different readings. Okay, everybody who's been doing readings with the gauges at idle, an AC system wasn't meant to take your pressures, temperatures, and everything at idle. Different manufacturers have a different RPM to set them to before you take your correct measurements. You need airflow going across the car. That's another thing. Remember, I mentioned some cars you could have 170-80 degree air right here. This is an intake manifold. On some cars, the exhaust manifold is right here. The hot radiating heat coming up gets sucked right into here, and then the heat from the hot radiator and condenser on a 90, 100, 110. Imagine being in Arizona. If you have it on fresh air mode and you're taking in 170 degree air right on top of the evaporator. I believe I've shown one or two videos where I put the temperature sensor on the inside of the car where the air cleaner is, and opened up the hood or switched it from fresh air to recycle air, and showed you 140, 150, 60, 70 degree air coming in because the hood is up. Now you're a technician and you're trying to diagnose a high side problem with the hood up, letting hot air right into the evaporator. Of course you're going to have a high low side and a high side. So this is where, other than you have a clearance problem, the Bluetooth wireless gauges and probes for pressure transducers. On the ones where you don't have a clearance problem, you can close the hood and go for a ride and take live readings while you're driving down the road. Or you could close the hood and open the hood and see the differences, what you should or should not have. And all the specs that you get in the dealer service manuals that give you a PT chart or certain pressure, they are not always right, and a lot of them are reprints from decades before, and they just keep getting reprinted from vehicle to vehicle. Not all the time, but many of the times. It is not the correct, it's a ballpark. It gives you a ballpark under certain ambient working conditions, but that's all it is. It's not black and white. That is the number that you'll be getting. And if you try to follow, say, the PT chart and the pressure, temperature, and all the things you were getting on a manufacturer's manual right from the GM, Toyota, Honda, if they said it should read that, do you think you're going to see that with this condenser? Go look back at the other video where I cut this condenser up and show you the insides, and we count the fins, we count the tubes, I show you about the superheating, all the difference. Do you think you're going to get the same high side readings and heat dissipation with this aftermarket condenser as the original equipment? Any of the numbers you've been given on a hot day are thrown in the garbage. That's it. And on a cool day, once you're below a certain threshold, it's like that exponential kind of graph you guys seen in math. I know I'm mentioning math, I won't get into the math too much. You know, a bell curve or an exponential where it goes up, it's not linear and straight, it actually goes up really fast. That's what happens here. Up to a certain point, your high side will be okay, your cooling will be okay. Once you hit that, the straw that breaks the camel's back kind of things, you got that nuclear meltdown, that runaway, thermal runaway. Let's explain it like that. You pass this peak threshold, and on that day, at that temperature, is when this aftermarket condenser stops giving good cooling and massively high side. All right, I think that's all I have to say. I know I'm leaving something out, but I gotta get out of here. See ya.